Okay, you are watching Call for Two, broadcasting live from Champaign, Illinois, Tuesday, February 21st, around 11 p.m. This is a sort of unannounced stream. I wanted to test out a new gadget, and I thought we should get into the habit of doing more of these unscheduled streams. They're convenient for me because I don't have to... If I think ahead of time I've got a live stream today, then it sort of messes with my schedule. So it's sort of more enjoyable to do these on spur of the moment. Let me just check in with the chat here. Okay, so if you see the chat comments, you'll notice a little bit weird. We've been testing this new thing I have, so I'm going to show it to you. We're going to spend a couple minutes just looking at it. Let me switch to the webcam view. Okay, so... and it plugs into USB port, and you can code for it. It has multicolor RGB light in there, and you can code for it. So last stream, someone said we were on a puzzle and I wasn't paying attention to the chat, and the chat was trying to get my attention. Jonathan says he wasn't getting my voice from that view. That's right, I've turned it off. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to show it to you in a second with audio. But someone was pointing out it would be nice if they could catch my attention. I thought that's a good idea. It would be nice if I had a way to catch my attention if I missed something in the chat. So I'm going to switch to the web view. Hopefully I can get a view where you can hear my voice. Let's see. Yeah, you should be able to hear my voice now. Okay, so right in front of me, facing me at the edge of this table, is this little Blink One USB device. Looks like a thumb drive. And I want Jonathan to type the words or a sentence that will trigger the alert. Okay, so Jonathan, type the magic keywords. There can be a 5-second delay. And I guess the YouTube video can extend the delay. But Jonathan will type something. Okay, so, and now in a couple seconds, you should see that light come on. Okay, it's hard for you to see, but it did come on. I can certainly see it. And then that would direct me to look at the chat, and then I can turn it off from a button here. There you have it. Okay, so it's just a little bit of Python code that combines a couple different things, and we'll see if it works. YouTube is very finicky about if you start probing their API too frequently. Like when I do my live question and answer, I've got a little tablet device that checks for chat updates, and if you trigger it too often, YouTube freaks out and will block you. So it's possible that by checking the chat frequently, I'll cause problems for us. Hopefully not. Hopefully the worst that will happen is it will lose its connection. Okay, so what are we going to play today? Well, that's up to you, anyone who's in the channel. I've got some games picked out for you to choose from. So I don't want us to play anything important that we need the full squad here for, and that we think might be more important to give a full team review to. So I've picked out a couple of games here that are not new. So there's a Deadbolt Mystery Society game. There's my other Sleuth Kings game. I heard this one was quite good. 3 document dump games, not puzzle games, but document dump games that I have every reason to believe are going to be on the lesser quality. Oh, actually 4. So Murder Mystery Party Noir was Murder Noir. This is made by someone who did another case by them that I was not happy with, but it would clear it off our schedule. So all 4 of these I have no reason to expect will be particularly good. Actually, Unsolved Case Files, I did a review of 5 of these games, and I forget what it was called, but maybe it was Jamie Banks. This series I actually thought was a good recommendation place to start for new players, because it had a nice multi-event structure and nice hints and nice epilogue. So although it wasn't hard, I thought I did actually recommend it as an early beginner game to play. I haven't played this one, but okay, so this series I actually had some good things to say about. This series I've heard not great things. I bought 4 of these cases on eBay used, but I believe unplayed. They feel a little more handmade. They might be a little more gentle about them. This one is from Amazon. I have no idea anything about it. I think it might need a little bit of internet access. Killer at Large, we've played one of these cases and liked it quite a bit. And then, of course, Deadbolt Mystery Society. Okay. So it looks like this channel, we've got some pros here. Jonathan Jang actually played Veronica Falcone and liked it. So probably we should take this off the table if one of us has already played it. Unless Jonathan isn't going to be here for the stream, in which case we could. Murder Case Decryption, Robert says he's played and was not happy with. Is actually returned it to Amazon. Okay. And Murder Noir was played by Mantrap and says it wasn't bad. All right. Well, if we take those off the table, I'm assuming you guys want to play for the stream and don't want me to play a game you've already played. Mantrap also played The Watcher. Well, I have lots of Deadbolt, so I'll just leave this out here as a proxy. We could play any Deadbolt Mystery Society game. Okay, well, that leaves Cold Case, Sleuth Kings, which we played last week. We played a Sleuth Kings game and we're quite happy with. Matt Burton votes Killer at Large. The only reason to maybe not play Killer at Large is that it was quite good, the last one we played. There are only 2 of them, and it may take long. This one is the marriage one. A marriage something. We played one that was in the forest. This is the marriage one. If we play a Deadbolt Mystery Society game, we could play any of 24 of them. Behind the Wall, Lair, Jester, Circle, Carnival of Chaos, Cape Anna. A Marriage Cut Short. Okay. So Mantrap has played A Marriage Cut Short, it sounds like. Wow, this is what happens when we get a bunch. Now, I'm not opposed to playing games that some people have played, but not for an unscheduled stream. For an unscheduled stream, we will only play games that people who are here haven't played or want to play. Okay, we could play the Cryptic Killers, one that we haven't played. But I thought that might be one to wait for the full squad, because the rest of the people liked the Cryptic Killers and were interested in trying another one. So I think I'd rather not play Cryptic Killers. I'd rather not play it on this stream. I'd rather play it where people have a little bit of heads up. Well, what about this one? I mean, I have no hopes for this one, but if no one has played it, and I have 4 of these, and we think it probably won't be very good, I think maybe we should play this one. No one has played this, right? Jonathan Jang says, I've done the train bomber one. Okay, well, I have 4 of these. I did happen to pick out the train bomber one, but we don't have to do the train bomber one. So let's do a game of the Cold Case Crackers, but I'll pick a different one than this one. Is this the only one that anyone has done? Let me go get the others. All right, so I've got 3 more of the cold case ones. That's the Sleuth Kings we've already played. I also have 2 more of these. I guess Jamie Banks is not the one I played, but we could play one of these or one of these. All right, let's do the cold case crackers because I am curious about this. So, has anyone played the Clearwater Hotel Murders or the 12th Street Theater? Which of those sounds more interesting to you? 12th Street Theater, Fairlake Bank Heist. How about Bank Heist? I'm kind of in the mood for a Bank Heist one. Let's do that. Let's do the Bank Heist. Okay, so that's what we're going to play. So let me clear off the table here. I'm going to send you to the webcam. All right, here we go. Cold case crackers. We're going to play this Bank Heist one. We're going to hope that all the pieces are here, and we're going to find out whether this is as expected or exceeds our expectations. This has been opened, I can see. It has been played. We're hoping it's been a year since I purchased. We're hoping that all the parts have been reassembled. It's a little bit, but that's what you get when you jump into one of these unpredictable streams. All right. Anything else to catch up on before we get started? I don't know where you can buy these. I think they may be available on Amazon, but I bought them on eBay. So I don't know anything about the history of these. They're packaged a little oddly. Like there's a green outer jacket. Then there's a blue jacket, which I think had this on it. And then 4 envelopes, phases 1 through 4. This one says open after you've read the rules. This says open after you've completed phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. And then this looks like our introductory thing. We've got a serious bank vault. Okay, let's read this. The Fairlake Bank Heist Case. On Thursday, January 27, 2005, a group of 3 armed perpetrators entered Broadway Savings and Loan to carry out a planned heist. The group managed to steal over $2 million from safety deposit boxes and cash drawers. During the heist, one of the perpetrators shot and killed a security guard in the bank. 3 days later, during the investigation, police tracked 2 of the perpetrators to a hotel. Officers on the scene found them both dead, and it is believed that the remaining team member killed them both and is the mastermind of the entire heist. Original suspects for the mastermind include Austin Woods, a pilot, Neil Turner, bank manager, Alex Hartman, the IT specialist, Charles Gibson, the professor, and Henry Platt, the ex-con. All right, I love the setup. Bank heist. He's killed 2 of his partners, and they suspect possibly an inside job. All 5 of these original suspects cooperated with the investigators and provided statements and fingerprints. Detectives collected evidence and followed all leads at the time. However, there was not enough evidence to confirm any suspect as the mastermind. The case went cold, and the suspect responsible for the heist and 3 murders is still on the loose. I see. So 3 people broke in. It's a little typo already, right? Because This is saying 3 people broke in, 2 were found dead. And then here it says the suspect responsible for the heist. Oh, the 3 murders, sorry. No mistake. 1 murder was of a bank employee. So bank employee was killed and then the 2 suspects were killed. Okay. Sorry, thought there was a mistake already. Case when cold, suspect responsible for the heist and 3 murders is still on the loose. A year and a half later, detectives got a break in the case when they arrested an infamous criminal, the notorious smuggler and trafficker of stolen goods, Jimmy Hobbs. He was arrested in possession of a gold watch that was listed among the items stolen during the bank heist in 2005. Police know that Jimmy was out of the country during the heist, but believe that he could have important information as to who the mastermind is. The lead detective, Vicky Price, jumped at the chance to follow this important break in the case and questioned Jimmy at the prison. While interviewing Jimmy, she was able to gain valuable information about the heist. In addition, she obtained a map and cipher that was used by the mastermind in the planning of the heist. After receiving this new information, Detective Price enlisted help from the cold case crackers. She believes that the new evidence will be key to identifying the mastermind, seeing justice be served, and bringing closure to all those affected. Once your investigation team is ready to begin, visit www.coldcasecrackers.ph to hear from the case's original detective. Good luck. Rules and gameplay. It's your job to solve each phase in order to crack the case and put the mastermind behind bars. When you feel you have the appropriate evidence to complete a phase and further the investigation, you need to confirm online. Follow the directions on each phase card to do so. Use all evidence at your disposal in completing each phase. Sometimes relevant evidence can hide in plain sight. Note, some evidence can be accessed online only. If you need help progressing in the game, contact the tip line for a push in the right direction. Police have a tip line set up, and it's always a good place to go when your team of investigators is stuck on a phase. Go to the tip line website and type in whichever tip line code corresponds to the phase you're currently on. There is no limit to the number of players, but we recommend between 1 and 6. Disclaimer, all descriptions and accounts in this game are fictional and for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so there's our setup. I love the story, bank heist, and you got a mastermind that's killed off the other people because they don't trust them. It's a Lufthansa heist all over again. And one of the bank employees was killed. And there's our suspect list, which we'll presumably get more information about. It's been a year and a half. Okay. So, what exactly... Oh, it tells us to start by going to the website, doesn't it? To hear from the case's original detective. All right, so I guess we should do that. Let me see if I can't get... Let's get the keyboard over here. All right, let's see if we can... Ideally, I would have set this stuff up ahead of time, but I really did not plan for this. Okay, let's see what we can do here. All right, so we're going to get to hear this, and it looks like this is the story that we've already read, right? This is exactly the text we already read, printed out, but we've got some audio to hear. All right, so I did not plan for this, but let's see if I can get it to work without having done any setup. If not, you'll hear it.
My name is Detective Vicki Price. I want to start by saying welcome to you and the Cold Case Crackers team. This case revolves around a well-planned and executed bank heist in Fairlake, Nevada in 2005. The mastermind of the heist killed a security guard during the heist and killed both other accomplices after. In addition, he made off with millions of dollars in cash and valuables. I was the original lead detective, and we truly appreciate you taking on the case. It has been cold for quite some time, and we just recently had a break in the case. Police discovered a stolen item from the heist being sold by a well-known criminal, Jimmy Hobbs. After speaking with him, we are closer than ever to determining the mastermind. We are confident your team can help bring justice to this murderous thief. When you believe your team is ready to take this case, please find the evidence in the case file I sent over. The city of Fairlake is counting on you. Good luck.
Okay, so I heard it, you heard it. It's just a summary again of just to put a little voice to our detective, Vicki Price, who's reopening this case. All right, so there's our vault. I guess the thing to do next is to open this and phase 1. After you have read the rules and gameplay. Okay, so let's open this one up. Let's see what this phase thing looks like. Oh, look at that. That looks pretty neat. Okay. It's like a circuit diagram of some sort. Or a map of the bank floor. Okay. Police Department interview transcript. A cipher. Shift 7. That looks like maybe it's just a simple Caesar cipher. And then what have we got here? After talking to Jimmy, detectives believe the mastermind was targeting a specific safety deposit box. Police now need to gain access to bank records. To further the investigation, bank manager has outlined what the bank's policy is and what is needed to acquire this new evidence. Which 2 artifacts fulfill the bank's policy and allow access to the confidential records? Use the artifacts listed below and follow the instructions to see if you have chosen correctly. Once you have chosen 2 items, verify at this location. Okay, so here's how phase 1 we advance it. We figure out which 2 of these pieces of information meet the criteria, and then we go online, and if we're right, it'll tell us we could advance to phase 2. Now the question is, why is this stuff in phase 1? And what do we have? What's all this? Like, we've got a large number of documents here. Is this, I guess this is her police report. This is her entire police report, that cold case file that we can go through. There's a lot of nice documents here. And then this, I don't know why these are not in here. That's all I'm saying. That's a little strange, but it's sort of like I almost forgot. We've been playing so many puzzle games recently that I almost forgot how these document dump games work, that these are not strictly puzzles. I guess we should walk through our case file, our cold case file, and see what we've got. And then we'll return to this phase 1 stuff. All right, let's look at what we got. So far, so good. I mean, it feels reasonably rich. Got a nice big file of stuff here. That looks pretty good, actually. All right, so far, so good. Let's see what we got here. Fairlake Police Department in Nevada. This is going to be the original bank robbery report, I guess. Let's see what it is. Location, 788 Broadway. Police arrived on scene 3:36, left at 8:57. I was called to the scene of a robbery in progress at Broadway Savings and Loan. Further action needed, yes. Follow up with prison on visitors to Craig Burke. We don't know who that is. Summary of the incident. Silent alarm at Broadway Savings and Loan was triggered at 3:16 p.m. Signal to police was delayed by 15 minutes. By the time police arrived at the scene, 3 perpetrators had already left the scene. Witness reports 2 men and 1 woman carried out the heist, made off with millions of dollars in cash and contents of safety deposit boxes. 2 men and 1 woman. Signal delayed by 15 minutes. We don't know what caused that. Victims. Security guard was shot and pronounced dead at the scene. Another employee of the bank had minor injuries. Witnesses, Aaron Fox, Jamal Brooks, and Oliver Hamilton. Witness statements were collected from all 3. Notes, this may have ties to Craig Burke, who was arrested recently for planning to carry out a bank robbery at Broadway Savings and Loan. So they've arrested someone recently who was planning to rob this place. Preliminary review of the scene revealed a breach in the bank's security system. Video camera footage was deleted. Cameras were deactivated during the heist. Okay, original detective was Vicky Price, so she's stuck on this case, stuck with it, and she's reopened it now a year later. All right, she's got a forensic science lab report. Looks pretty official, to be honest. Okay, 1/28/2005. Incident was 1/27. So next day, she's got her forensic report back. Sent to Bradley Butler. Your parcel in connection with case number blank was duly received by the NVSCL for scientific analysis. Parcel contents include sealed transparent evidence bags, biological swabs, and fingerprints. 5 evidence bags, 4 swabs, 3 fingerprints, total 12 items. Evidence bags have shell casings, a silicone mask, saliva swabs, blood swab, and fingerprints. Preliminary analysis. Silicone mask was found to have 1 fingerprint located on the left ear with no additional DNA evidence. Fingerprint matched to Emily Kendall, a detective working the crime scene. So one of the cops touched this with bare hand, it sounds, touched the mask with bare hands. That's bad police work. 40 caliber shell casings were stamped with the markings 40 cal 120 grain. Markings on the percussion caps were run through the SAFD database and were matched to a firearm reported stolen. And we've got the serial number of that firearm, and used in an unsolved convenience store robbery in Jansen, Michigan on 3/24/2004. So a year ago, a gun was stolen, used in a convenience store robbery, and it is now the gun that was presumably used to kill this bank employee. Saliva, reportedly taken from the steps outside the bank, was found to belong to James Coronado, Commissioner of Police for the Fairlake Police Department. Why do they have saliva taken on the stairs of the bank? Are we going to hear about that? Blood samples all belong to a bank security guard who was shot during the robbery. All results in this analysis are preliminary. A formal report to be submitted upon request. Okay, so they collected a bunch of blood. As expected, it was all from the bank employee victim. All right, and we've got a little newspaper clipping about the bodies found in the hotel believed to be of the two accomplices. August 11, January 31st, 2005, so 4 days after the robbery. Police officers showed up on scene at the Fairview Inn at 7:30 p.m., January 30th, 2005. Hotel clerk called the authorities Sunday night when a maid reported finding two dead bodies in a room booked by Carol Hartz, an out-of-state resident. Using items from the hotel room, police were able to identify the two deceased bodies as Jennifer Blake and Martin Cash. Two individuals were each found with several bullet wounds. Guests of the hotel report that there were 3 people entering the room that night. Sorting through the room's contents, police made a huge discovery. Detectives believe that Miss Blake and Mr. Cash were 2 of the 3 perpetrators who robbed Broadway Savings and Loan just 3 days prior. Police found a bank blueprint along with other documents that directly tie them to the heist. Police were able to confirm this from evidence left at the scene of the heist. Witness reports from the bank robbery had 2 men and 1 woman carrying out the job. Crew stole millions of dollars in cash and valuables and left behind a dead security guard in their wake. It's now believed that the remaining member of the heist team was their murderer and the mastermind of the heist. Police have focused all efforts to finding this mastermind who is responsible for the bank heist and 3 different murders. Story continues on B3. Wow, I'm loving this story so far. Let's see what's on the back of this newspaper. Wanted, IT specialist to help build a website. Security system experience needed. Must have at least 2 years of experience. Wanted 17 tigers. I've been growing a collection of Bengal tigers. I have 83 total tigers. I'm ready to make the jump to triple digits. Must be housebroken. Missed connection. Looking for 30-something-year-old who left his book on how to love turtles the way they deserve on the bus. You are my soulmate. Okay. These are just random news stories. Springfield Hotel, Casino, and Spas hiring servers. No experience needed. Must be able to work nights. Must be able to hold 5 pitchers. Inquire at. So here we've got a website that we may be able to visit. It looks like an unusual enough website that it might be visitable. But now, why would we ever go there? Okay, help wanted. Dream job, work from home, make your own hours. Pay starts $50. Must know rocket science. Fairlake Police Department needs help. Police have set up a website in conjunction with the National Detective Team, the Cold Case Crackers. The department needs help inputting information into this federal vehicle database. Visit the database at NVD. It's a motor vehicle database. So that sounds like we might use this if we had driving license plate numbers or something. We might actually be able to use this. Help wanted, looking for someone specialized in drywall to help fully drywall a new development. Development is located just outside Fairlake. Preferred minimum 5 years experience working in new construction. Contact Randy. We've got a whole bunch of phone numbers here. We don't have any way to use them, but it is a little unusual to have phone numbers in a game like this. I wonder if we're ever going to get a chance to put in phone numbers. Okay. I wonder if the separation of these 2 packets is this one is new information. Yeah, I think the way they've separated is this is our cold case original police document file, and everything in phase 1 may be stuff that got the case reopened. Let's see if that's how it's organized. All right, what have we got here now? It looks like a map of the bank, and it looks like it might be like this. Like we found this drawing and here's the blueprint. So remember we were told in the hotel room that they found a blueprint, and here is that blueprint. Let's see, is there an easier way to look at this? All right, here's a blueprint that they found in the hotel room. So what have we got? Pedestrian crosswalk, ATM, sidewalk. There's your vestibule, security guard post, storeroom, commercial lock boxes, check desks, residential lock boxes. There's the vault, which matches this. Security access, break room, restroom, drive-through towers, executive lock boxes, president's suite. We were also told they messed with the cameras. I don't know if that means they went in here and messed with the cameras now, or they did it remotely. And then our detective thinks they might have targeted a specific lockbox, but we don't know if it was an executive, a commercial, or residential. I believe that's right. I believe that we haven't been told. Let's take this off here. I believe we haven't. I believe she told us that she thinks it was a specific lockbox, but I don't believe she told us which one. I don't see it here, but I believe that's what she said. Okay, this definitely looks like it lines up with this, and that we'll want to do this. There's the vault. Maybe it's the reconstructed path of the people. We'll put this together later, though, after we finish going through all of our evidence. Okay, so here are our suspects. Let's see, what are these? These are the original suspects for the mastermind. We've got Austin, a pilot, Charles, professor, Alex, the hacker, Henry, the ex-con, and Neil, the bank manager. All right, no information on the backs of these, just faces. If you had to guess based on suspicious face, that bank manager looks a little suspicious. All right. What have we got here? Visitor sign-in logs at the prison. This is the day after the robbery. And so this is not new information. And here's the day of the robbery. Let's get this police report out. Let me make sure I have these. So the robbery is on 1/27. Okay, sorry. So day before the robbery, prison visitor sign in, and day of the robbery. Robbery was 3/16. I believe. How do we want to read this? Silent alarm triggered at 3:16 p.m. and the signal to police was delayed by 15 minutes. So I guess what we're being told is that the break-in was at 3:16, and then at 3:30, the signal went out to the police. Police get on the scene by 3:36. By then, everyone's gone. All right. Now, who has requested these visitor sign-in logs? I see what's happened. So police get there. They say, wait a second, I remember that this guy, Craig Burke, who's not in our suspect. I remember this guy, Craig Burke, was arrested for planning a robbery on this bank. Let's go see where he was. So they pull visitor sign-in logs. And they're looking, are they looking for Craig Burke? Yes. So they've highlighted the visits to Craig Burke to see if maybe someone was talking to him about this crime. So day before the robbery, they find Katie Spencer visiting him for 5 minutes with Patty Bossy, PB, the guard on duty. And then on the morning of the murder, Henry Pratt visits him for an hour and 20 minutes. Again, Patty Bossy is the guard on duty. Then the robbery occurs sometime here, and Katie Spencer is back visiting with him for 46 minutes, let in by a different guard. At 5 p.m. All right. And who are the two people who were found dead? Is one of them Katie? Jennifer Blake and Martin Cash are the two dead accomplices. So I guess for now I'm not going to write on this. So let's just make a note here. Jennifer Blake, Martin Cash. These are the murdered accomplices. And then we have Craig Burke is the criminal previously arrested. Jennifer Blake, any sign of Jennifer Blake showing up to visit him, or Martin Cash? No. All right, but might someone be might Jennifer Blake be using an alias of Katie Spencer? Possibly. All right, but now at least it makes sense why they checked his visitor logs. Okay, so on our list of people to worry about, let's put these two visitors. Katie Spencer and Henry Pratt. These are visitors to Craig Burke. That's an awfully weird 5-minute meeting, though. 5-minute meeting, hour and a half meeting, 45-minute meeting. Hey, look what I just noticed. Courtney Blake visited Chris Blake. It's a little interesting, given that the dead woman accomplice is named Jennifer Blake. Let's make a note. Is Courtney and Chris Blake related to Jennifer Blake? A little suspicious. It's not a super uncommon name. But it is a little weird that it's happening right after meeting with Craig Burke. It's almost like this person is learning information from our planner in jail and passing it on to these two. Any sign of the Blakes here? Day before? No. I guess that doesn't make sense then. All right. Interesting. Here are the three witness statements that are on our report. Police report said they got witness statements from 3 people: Aaron Fox, Jamal Brook, and Oliver Hamilton. Here they are. Let's take a look at them. So far, I'm liking this game. I mean, I'm certainly liking the evidence. Okay, so the cops have taken this person's statement. They've got their age, their phone number, their address, what their connection is. This is our bank teller. Official statement: it was the scariest thing ever. I can't believe it. I was working at the teller station, at teller station 3, when it all went down. There was a lot of yelling, and I saw a gun. I hit the floor pretty quick. Everyone did. There were 2 men and 1 woman. I wish I could remember more. And Vicky Price has signed her name to this. These are all the handwriting of Vicky Price. So Vicky Price took these statements down, so we don't have handwriting of these people. Here's a bank customer. Oh, it's just there cashing checks. I'm from Jackson, and this sort of thing used to happen all the time, but I never would have thought it could happen in Fairlake. If people get desperate enough, I guess they'll do anything. So we've got our first use of the light. I've just noticed it. Jonathan says, what's the game's full name? Okay, this is Cold Case Crackers, the Fairlake Bank Heist Case. It's case number C3644. I think I have all 4 they make, but I'm not sure. So far, I'm loving the realistic evidence and the police reports. So far, it's been surprisingly good. Although I have, well, let's just keep going, and we'll leave our conclusions for later. Okay, he's just cashing checks. He's from Jackson. Happens all the time there, but here he can't believe it. I did hear one of the robbers talking to the other. He said, make sure you get the target box. That's what we're here for. I'm not sure what they were referring to, but they sounded mad. Okay, so here's our evidence that they might be going for a specific box. Love it. Here's Oliver Hamilton's statement. He's just a passerby. I was walking by the bank a little before it happened. I remember seeing a dark SUV park and 3 people got out. Didn't seem weird at the time. Now that I think about it, that was probably them. I did notice the SUV had an out-of-state plate. I didn't see what plate, but the first 3 letters were CAR. Wish I could be of more help. Okay, well, remember our newspaper, back of our newspaper, talked about a website on the Cold Case Crackers vehicle identification. So I wonder if we might be able to narrow down this list of cars. Dark SUV. Didn't see the whole plate. Out of state. Out of Nevada, not in Nevada. Interesting. All right, we'll have to come back to this. All right, now we've got some nice, rich interviews. So the police have interviewed our 5 suspects. Now, why they suspect these 5, we don't know. We haven't been told yet, but let's see if maybe we can get some insight here. First interview is Vicky, our chief detective, Vicky Price. She's interviewing Austin Woods, the pilot. Let's see if she's going to tell him why. So it took him 2 weeks to get to this guy. Maybe we should do these in order. Let's do these in order. 129.25. Okay, so the first guy they bring in is Henry Pratt, an ex-con. Why did they bring him in? Well, actually, we know why they brought him in. How do we know why we brought him in? Well, we think we know because Henry Pratt is the guy who's met with Craig Burke, the guy who was arrested for planning a previous robbery of this bank. Henry Pratt met with him 8 o'clock on the morning, 8:30 on the morning of the robbery. So the first thing they do the day after the robbery is they get the logs that night, they find him, and they bring him in for an interview that night. Detective Price. Mr. Pratt, thank you for taking the time this morning. Henry. How can I help a dedicated detective like yourself? Well, I just have a few questions for you. Proceed. Where were you yesterday, Mr. Pratt? I was having a good time with a couple of close friends of mine. And who are these friends of yours? Can they vouch for your whereabouts? You'd have to ask them. Oh, what are their names, Henry? You know, I'm not big on naming my friends. Detective Price, well, I'm trying to figure out if a known ex-con has anything to do with the bank heist that went down yesterday. So maybe you should name some friends. Well, there was a heist? Wow, sounds serious. Mr. Pratt, I do not believe this is news to you. Henry, you know, I do get to watch more news since I've been on the outside. Detective Price, yeah, it seems to me you've been in and out of Wilcox Prison a lot. Henry, yeah, it kind of feels like a summer home. Detective Price, you've been out now for how long? About 4 months, I'd say. Detective Price, I see here you got a job working at Big Mike's pawn shop. Yeah. Big Mike's a good guy. Whatever Big Mike needs, I do it for him. Detective Price, you seem like quite the employee. Henry, well, that's what I'm going for. Detective Price, let me just ask one more question. Does the name Craig Burke ring a bell for you? Henry, you know, my bell really does not ring anymore. Mr. Pratt, she says. And then she continues here. Okay, yeah, I know him. Detective Price, you do not just know him, you two are good friends? Henry, I got a lot of friends, Miss Detective. It's no big deal. Detective Price, Fairlake Savings and Loan was just robbed by 3 suspects, and an ex-con is friends with the man who was recently arrested for attempting to rob the same bank, and that's not a big deal to you? Henry, I'm a straight arrow now. Detective Price, I'm going to figure that out. In the meantime, you, your friends, and Big Mike want to stay in town for a while. All right, so this guy is being cagey, and our detective, Vicky Price, does not like this guy that much. But he hasn't given up any information. He has told us where he works, though. Claims he was with friends. Next up, let's keep these together. Okay, that's Henry. Well, we don't have much to hold him on, just that he was meeting with our guy. That doesn't help us much. Next guy is Charles Gibson. How did we get onto his trail? So it takes her 2 days to get this guy in. Let's see if she says why. Thank you for making the trip down to the station, Mr. Gibson. No problem. What's this about? Well, did you hear about the Fairbank bank robbery a few days ago? Yep, I saw it in the news. Well, we were told you might be a good person to talk to about it. I have no idea why that would be. I'm just a professor at a university. Detective Price, Mr. Gibson, where were you on the 27th? I'm sure I was in class. Am I a suspect or something? Detective Price, you were in class all day? Well, most of the day, I'm sure. Detective Price, you see, Mr. Gibson, the cameras were tampered with on the day of the heist. I'm still not sure how they did that. However, the cameras were working perfectly the days prior. And we have you on camera visiting the bank 4 times in 3 days. I bank there. That does not mean anything. Detective Price, well, maybe not, but it's not like you were in and out, Mr. Gibson. It looks as if you took a stroll. Well, stretching my legs is not a crime. Agreed. We also investigated you a little bit, Mr. Gibson, because of how suspicious we found the tapes. And it turns out you owe a lot of money. That's my business. Well, I would say so. You owe over $450,000 to various financial institutions. Looks like teaching was not quite covering your expenses. I do not need to listen to this nonsense. I'm a professor at a university. You think because I bank there and I'm in debt that I robbed the place? Detective Price, well, there were 3 people who robbed the bank. I'm trying to find out if you were involved. I have nothing to do with any of the people that robbed that bank. Can you prove you were in class? I don't have to prove anything. Yes, you do, Mr. Gibson. No, I don't. Detective Price, well, we're bound to find one of the 3, and whichever one wants to start talking is most likely going to have an easier time. Well, I hope you find all 3, but I do not appreciate being berated like this. The whole notion is preposterous. Detective Price, well, we'll see about that. If you're as smart as you think you are, then you'll prove your whereabouts. Have a nice day, Mrs. Price. So he's kind of thinks he's above us, so he doesn't have to give us his alibi. Says he's in class most of the day. He certainly seems to be scouting out this bank, but would he really be involved with bank robbers? It seems a little unlikely. But $450,000 is a lot of money to owe. All right, next up, Alex Hartman, the hacker. Let's see. Looks brighter to me. Why is that? Did I not? All right, let's see what Alex Hartman has to say. He's interviewed 2 days after the crime. He's interviewed at CyberFox Inc., so she has to go visit with him and his work. Detective Price. Good afternoon, Mr. Hartman. Yeah, good afternoon. Can I help you? Detective Price. Yes, I'm Detective Vicky Price, and we've just got a few questions for you, Alex. Oh, so you're that detective lady who kept calling. Detective Price. Yeah, we called you several times already to set a time to sit down and talk. Yeah, I got the messages. Detective Price, I figured there was no time like the present, so we wanted to pay you a visit at work. I see that. What do you want? Detective Price, well, like I said in the messages, we just want to talk. Okay, then talk. Detective Price, where were you on Thursday the 27th? I don't remember. Listen, why are you here? Detective Price, okay, you want to get straight to it. Fine. The bank heist 2 days ago. Did you have anything to do with it? Nope. You see, the cameras were tampered with, and when I asked around who would be able to do that, the name Alex came up a lot. So you think I robbed a bank because I'm good at my job? Detective Price, well, it looks as if you've been arrested before for cyber crimes as well, so I'll ask again. Where were you on the day of the heist? I'll answer again. I don't remember. Detective Price, okay, that's fine. This is a nice place of work. How long have you worked here? About 6 years, I guess. Detective Price, does all your income come from CyberFox? I see. He says, my income is my business. Detective Price, I'm just saying, I hear you got a lot of skills. You could take all sorts of jobs. Again, that's my business. I'm just trying to understand why I should believe that one of the best hackers in the state is happy with a cubicle job when they could be doing so much more. I am happy. Detective Price, so $1 million heist with cameras and alarms expertly tampered with, and you've got nothing to do with any of it. Yeah, that's what I said. Detective Price, you ignoring me for 2 days was just what, then? Oh, being busy. Busy. I guess I should call you Busy Alex. Now, you can call me whatever you like. Let me just ask one more question. Yeah, fine. You wouldn't happen to have 2 cyber buddies that you are close to that work here, would you? Listen, I am very... Yeah, I know, busy. All right, have a good day. Yep. All right, well, he doesn't want to talk to us much. These people, you'd think they'd want to give us their alibis. Okay, Neil Turner, the bank manager now. We'll finish these in interview transcripts, then we'll take a break. Okay, Neil, the bank manager, Neil Turner. Let's see what he's got to say for himself. Took a couple more days before they get to this guy. Let's see. Where are they interviewing him? He came down to the police station. Okay, let's see what he says. Please take a seat, Mr. Turner. I already talked to the detective who called. We just have a few more questions, if that's okay. Fine, whatever. Detective Price, you're the manager at Broadway Savings and Loan, correct? Yes, I am. And you were not working the day of the heist, correct? I told detectives this. I trained an employee in the morning, then left. Am I being considered a suspect? Detective Price, just answer the questions. Do you make the schedule for the bank employees? Yes, so what? Well, one of the things we found interesting was that the employee scheduled to open the bank was changed the night before the heist. Is there a reason for this? Well, we're shifting some positions and hours around to save money. This is ridiculous. Detective Price, why is that? Neil, I had nothing to do with the heist. I was at home. Can you prove that? I was alone. I had nothing to do with any of this. All this questioning because I changed the schedule? Detective Price, well, it's a little more than that, I'm afraid. Do you know either Jennifer Blake or Martin Cash? I do not know Martin, but I know Jennifer. Why? What does she have to do with everything? Well, how do you know her, Mr. Turner? Well, she and I started dating recently, that's all. Detective Price, and when was the last time you talked to her? Well, like a week ago. I'm assuming you've not seen the recent news. No, what's this about? Well, I hate to be the one to tell you this, Mr. Turner, but Jennifer was killed 2 days ago along with Mr. Cash. We now know they were 2 of the 3 who entered the bank, and the third is most likely their murderer. So I'm talking to you about a lot more than a schedule change. I can't believe it. Wow, I guess it all makes sense now. Detective Price, what makes sense, Mr. Turner? I just can't believe this. She and I had just started to get close. She kept on asking to visit where I worked and take a tour of the vault and safety deposit boxes. I thought it was a little weird, but thought maybe she was just interested in me. Detective Price, am I supposed to believe that you had nothing to do with any of this? Yes! I had no idea. I did not show her anything. I should get a lawyer, shouldn't I? Detective Price, well, I would if I were you. We're going to need pictures of those boxes along with a list of all the owners of them. As manager, can you get us that? I could not show her anything, and I will not be able to show you anything either. Bank's policy is very clear on that. Detective Price, what policy? I'm trying to solve a heist and a string of murders. If you have nothing to do with any of it, then I'll need that list of box owners. Listen, the box owners still have a right to their privacy. We can only release their information if you meet our policy standards. Okay, Mr. Turner, what is the bank's policy? Bank will release the security box information if you can prove that the heist was specifically going after a box. If you can prove that there was a target box for the heist, then we can give you what you need. And what do we need to prove that? Well, according to the bank policy, you'll need to provide 2 pieces of evidence proving the group was there targeting one specific box. If you can provide any 2 pieces of evidence showing that they were there for a specific box, then we will comply. Detective Price, well, we'll work on that, Mr. Turner, but I still have a hard time believing you had nothing to do with any of this. Listen, I must process everything you just told me. Call my lawyer next time you'd like to talk to me. Detective Price, smart move. Smart move indeed. Okay. So we're told in phase 1 that this is the key puzzle we have to figure out. We have to figure out which 2 pieces of evidence will prove that they were targeting a specific box. All right, so that's progress. And it looks like Jennifer Blake was dating him to get close to him, to get information on the bank. But he claims he never gave her a tour at all. Okay, now, why do they have their eyes on Austin? Austin Woods, the pilot. It takes them 2 weeks to get to Austin. Let's see how they stumbled on him. Thank you for coming in, Mr. Woods. No problem. We've been trying to get a hold of you, but it looks like you've been out of town for a while. Yeah, I just got back from a trip in Cancun. What's this about? Detective Price, well, are you familiar with the robbery at Broadway Savings and Loan? Well, I heard about it, but what does that have to do with me? Detective Price, well, let me just ask you where you were on January the 27th around, say, 3 p.m.? I'm not sure. I was visiting my sister, I think. And can you prove that, Mr. Woods? Well, do I need to? Why am I here? Detective Price, well, one of the leads we were looking into was how the stolen goods would be taken out of Fairlake. We asked around, and when it came to smuggling anything, your name came up. Listen, that was one time. I don't do any of that stuff anymore, and I definitely had nothing to do with that heist. Detective Price, okay, Austin, well, do the names Jennifer Blake and Martin Cash mean anything to you? No, not really. Why? Detective Price, is it no or not really, Mr. Woods? No. No, I have never heard of them. Should I get a lawyer or something? Detective Price, well, if you feel like you need one, by all means. All of this because I made a mistake years ago. Well, not quite. You see, Mrs. Blake and Mr. Cash were two of the three members of the crew that robbed the bank. I never heard of them. Ask them, and I'm sure they'll say the same. Detective Price, well, I would, Mr. Woods, but they were both murdered. We believe the mastermind of the heist is cleaning up his tracks. Listen, you got the wrong person. Detective Price, okay, but I found it very coincidental that you left town so quickly after everything went down. I went on vacation. People go on vacation. Sure they do, but a known smuggler going on vacation right after the theft of millions in stolen goods and the murder of two people is a little suspicious. I'm a pilot. That's it. Detective Price, I want to believe you, but it doesn't look good. And believe me, I got nothing else to say. Detective Price, can you prove you were visiting your sister? Silence. Mr. Woods, can you prove any of your whereabouts on the days in question? Silence. Fine. Have it your way, but don't leave town until we say so. You can leave. So he has decided he's not going to speak anymore without talking to a lawyer. All right, so the only reason we're at all suspicious of him is because he's gotten in trouble before for smuggling stuff out, and because he went on vacation right after all this. But he claims to have an alibi of being with his sister on the days of the murder. Okay. So let's take an 8-minute break. I'll see you in 8 minutes. We'll get back to this case. Okay, we're back. So far, so good. We're proceeding through our cold case file here before we get to the new stuff. And it looks like we've got some fingerprints to look at next. Got fingerprints, we've got some text messages, a whole bunch of text messages that the police got. So let's start by going through fingerprints. So we've got, it looks like fingerprints from each of our 5 suspects. It is looking like this game is going to come down to deciding that one of these suspects did it, one of these 5, rather than someone else, although we wouldn't swear on it. But I want to look at that forensic report again. So the forensics report said 3 fingerprints were submitted. The fingerprint on the mask was to one of the detectives working the scene, so that was a mistake. But 3 fingerprints were submitted. Don't we need to see those fingerprints? Are we going to get those at some point? I think maybe we just haven't gotten them yet. So let's just take a look at what we have. I'm not sure we can use any of this information yet. So Charles Gibson, we can combine these with these people. Charles Gibson, the professor. We've got his height, his weight, his age. He's been working 14 years at Fairlake College. He's got a Toyota 4Runner, and we've got his license plate. Okay, so this is important. We can look up their plates maybe on that website. We've got his fingerprints. And it looks like Vicky collected fingerprints when she brought him in for his interview. He was arrested on a DUI and then driving on a suspended license. Okay, let's just put his fingerprints with his record. Okay, then we've got Neil Turner, the bank manager. Why is the... Okay, let's check in with the chat. Jonathan says, are there enough phases that maybe each phase eliminates a suspect? It's possible. It's certainly possible. What's happened here? Now, why is this zoomed in? Okay, I don't know. All right, so looking at Neil Turner, the bank manager, he's worked only 2 months at Broadway Savings and Loan. That's a little suspicious. Got his license plate. It's a Lexus 2003. We've got his fingerprints. Convicted of a DUI. That's not much to go on. Not much of a criminal background in robbery. Who's next? This is going to be our hacker. Worked for 6 years. He's got a Nissan Altima. There's his license plate. Middle name Clay. Arrested for email hacking in 97. That's a long time ago. 8 years. Charges were reduced. Okay. Next up, Austin Woods, the pilot. charged with flying without a license and convicted, and then charged with drug trafficking 6 years ago. Charges reduced. He's got a car with a personalized license plate of Fly High. Okay. Now, Henry Pratt, the ex-con, he's only been working at Big Mike's pawn shop for 3 months. He does whatever Big Mike asks him to. He's got a license plate, GOO 7811, a Chevy Impala. He was arrested for petty larceny, grand theft auto, and aggravated assault. So just generic criminal activity. Middle name Lee. Not much, not very useful. I mean, unless we get a fingerprint to match up, none of their background seems particularly useful to us. All right. 40 caliber bullets reported stolen used in an unsolved convenience store robbery in Jackson, Michigan on 3/23/2004. So if we see any of our people from Michigan, do we have their... All of them seem to reside in Fairlake. All right, Paul, just keep this in mind. We could be looking for someone who stole this gun in Jackson, Michigan. Maybe we could look up this case. All right, and then the last set of evidence here looks like a whole bunch of chat logs of text messages. And then we're done with our base evidence. All right. Text messages collected from phone number. All right, let's look at our fingerprint forms to see if we can... Because we do have phone numbers for each of our people. So, in fact, let me bring these to the forefront. They look like they might be the most useful information for us. So they're not just fingerprint forms, they're also giving us phone number. Okay, so we've got a set of text messages here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5. This might be one from each of our suspects. Okay, so 536-7851. Let's see if we know who this is. Yes, we know who this is. This is Charles Gibson's phone. So she subpoenaed his phone records, text messages from our professor. Let's see what she's got. So let's make sure we understand this. Who's writing to who? So this is someone, he's got a call from, or he's texting with 416-7185. Let's make sure it's not from someone else in the case. All right, we don't know who this is. Drinks after your last class. Sure. Dealing with kids trying to negotiate grades. Haha. Give me 10. Headed to you know. Thanks for tonight. So this was at 4:30. They're arranging a meeting. Then here it is, 11 p.m. Thanks for tonight. I had an awesome time, and thanks for helping with those boxes. No problem. Still at bar if you change your mind about that third drink. Gonna head home. Big day tomorrow. Do we know what day this is? Yes, this is our day of the robbery. So day of the robbery, the first message they pick up is at 4:39 p.m. Dealing with kids trying to negotiate grades. Well, he certainly doesn't seem like he was involved in a bank robbery, but he could be lying about this just to give himself an alibi. Give me 10 minutes, though. He could have gotten there after the robbery, but probably not. Okay, now here is older messages. More than a week earlier. Where were you yesterday? From a different phone number, but not someone in our case. Where were you yesterday? I'm sorry, my kid got sick. No worries, I can relate. I'll get the rest of the office supplies tomorrow. Can you still get package? Yep, can meet him tomorrow at the office store. What should I be looking for? He drives a red truck. Got it. See you soon. So a week before the robbery, 9 days before the robbery, he's talking with someone about a package. And then here he is talking to someone. You're late for class. Students are starting to leave. Down the hall, anyone who leaves fails my class. You better hurry. Thanks for keeping the animals at bay for me. You looked flushed during class. Can I get you anything? Up late grading papers last night. Are you taking my job? LOL. No. So this might be an assistant. He's got like a graduate student assistant. We don't know this phone number though. 532-3325. No one in our case. This is day after the robbery. Up late grading papers last night. I mean, this all seems believable to me, but you know, he could be lying about it, but it certainly seems like those are the messages of someone who's not involved in a heist. Although I don't know what the deal is with this package. All right, next phone records we have is from Neil Turner, the bank manager, who we know was dating one of the criminals. Let's see what he says. Do we have phone numbers for any of these other people? I don't think we do. Okay, so day after the robbery, then this is the day after the robbery. Do you know where my car keys are? In the garage, he says. Why would they be in the garage? Oh, I borrowed your car last night. Mine was acting up again. Your car is acting up again? You have an appointment Monday to have it fixed. Don't forget. Training an employee. We'll see you tonight. I love you. I love you too. This is day after the robbery. Day of the robbery at 1 p.m., a couple hours before the robbery. Have your cat 1 million by 12 a.m. or else. Don't own a cat. Actually, you do. Mark? Now 4 million or Mark gets it too. Definitely James, haha. New phone, lost mine last night when we were on the boat. See you at the foxhole tonight? Nope, going to be a long day. And then here he is. These are out of weird order. This is again day of the heist and half hour after the heist. I added you to the schedule to open in the morning. Be there at 6:30. John and I are opening? Day before the heist. Day before the heist. So this one was day before the heist. This is day before the heist too. I had you to the schedule to open in the morning. Be there at 6:30. John and I are opening. Just you. Was he sick? Did he call out? He quit yesterday. What happened? See you tomorrow. Why 6:30? We open at 8. Training. Don't be late. I borrowed your car last night. He says on the morning of the robbery. What's his alibi? Trained an employee in the morning, then he left. And he does say, I added you to the schedule. I got a training in the morning. Don't be late. That's the employee he's training. 546. We don't know that phone number. And John quit. Interesting. All right, I don't know quite what to make of that. $254. Next up is Alex Hartman. He's our hacker. Let's see what he's doing. Couple days after the robbery. Says, sorry about missing the mumble call last night. How did it go? If we're going to move on with this business, we need investment from you. That means time and our money. I may be able to give you some money now. Come on, man. I've been doing some jobs I could contribute. Keep your money. We need your time more than anything. Be on time. Will do. Sorry again. This is a couple days after the heist. Here is 2 days after the heist. You sure do cover your tracks. I owe you big time. Changing grades hardly requires covering tracks. As long as no feds are coming for me, I'm forever thankful. I don't believe they dabble in grade changes. When are you going to be coming back to class? Next week. Just stopped working one of my jobs. Glad to hear. Lucky. Lunch when you get back? He says, sure. And then day of the robbery in the morning. Hey, why didn't you text me back last night? Was helping out a friend. It pays well. The best hacker I know. You can have whatever money you want. I appreciate the compliment. Anyway, have you seen Mia? She didn't come home last night. Did she go to your place? I haven't seen her. Plus, my girl is out of town. Let me know if you see her. I'm worried. So here he is getting paid to change grades from someone. This isn't someone who knows is talking to the professor, is it? 4596282. No. All right, well, I don't know. Some of these are interesting, but it's hard to know if they're relevant for our case. It doesn't sound like he'd be doing this kind of job for changing grades if he was having $1 million heist, does it? If you were involved in $1 million heist, you wouldn't need to change grades for a couple $100. Okay, next up is Austin Woods, the pilot. Let's see what he's doing on the phone. So 2 days before the murder, heist and murder. Hey man, still working on getting you that jack. I need that by noon. Very important. No problem, man. What do you need a car jack for anyway? Think of becoming a mechanic? Haha. Helping a buddy. I'm plenty handy. LOL. Jacking up a recliner? Ha ha. I left the jack on your back porch. Thanks for letting me use it. So he borrows a jack in the morning of the 25th to fix a car. And then at midnight, he's done with it and leaves it on this guy's door. Okay, why did he need that jack? What was he doing? We don't know yet. And here's someone calling him on 4 days before the heist. Someone says, I can't wait to see you. We haven't seen a lot of each other. After this week is over, why don't we go to Cancun? You really mean it? We can finally go? God willing, and the creek don't rise. Just going to be another promise you don't keep? You've been promising me a trip for years. This time is different. We will go. I'm going to take time off and we'll go. I have to get away. This sounds very suspicious. He says he's with his sister on the 26th or 27th. Let's see if we've got any evidence of that. Okay, so here he is 3 days after the heist. Glad that job's over. I can't stand working with that guy, is the person calling him. Tell me about it, he says. Took a while to get back to me. I was worried you didn't make it. When did you start sleeping in? Flight was delayed. My flight was on time. Glad to get away from all the stress in Fairlake? Yes. Margarita calling my name. See you in 2 weeks. Later. This guy seems like he's missing. I mean, he admitted he was on vacation, but he says he was with his sister, right? His claim is he went on vacation afterwards, but he says he was visiting his sister. Visiting his sister. He's promising to send him to go on vacation with this person. And then he hasn't gone by the time the 30th comes. Well, I mean, that guy is fishy, but nothing obvious, unless I'm missing something. Here's our last suspect, Henry Pratt, the ex-con. Okay, so day of the heist, 1:45 p.m., 2 hours before the heist. I called the pawn shop. You're not there. Something wrong at the apartment? I'm here. I lied to get out of work. You should be at work. We need the money. I have the money issue under control. Don't even. Is her name Penny? Money. I'm hanging out with the guys. I'm going to go. Tell me where you are. Someone's jealous about him or something. His wife. He lied to get out of work. She's at the apartment. He's not there. He's not clear where he is. So where is he, though? 2 hours before the robbery. Here's day before the robbery. Hey, man, can you do me a big favor? Sure, what you need? Can you call me tomorrow at 12:30? I need to get out of work. Overbook lunch with wife and girlfriend again? Ha, ha, ha. Just do it. Thanks, man. You rock. Drink soon. Okay, so here he is. He says, call me tomorrow at 12:30. And then at 1 p.m. tomorrow, the day of the heist, he messages him and says, thanks. It will be like old times. Can't wait. This is the day of the robbery. So at 1 p.m. on January 27th, he says, it'll be like old times, can't waste. And then a half hour later, the wife calls. She says, why aren't you, you're not at the pawn shop, you're not at the apartment, you're somewhere else. He says, don't worry about the money. And now here we are, Wednesday, day before heist. I really appreciate the opportunity to have dinner tonight. This job will mean a lot to me. Yeah. Was I wrong about the location? Sizzling steaks on 22nd at 5 p.m. No, I'm running late. Testing your patience. Be there in 30. Really appreciate the opportunity. I will not let you down. So, is this night before the robbery? Is he coordinating with someone to work with? It's a lot of different phone numbers. It might be 554-6721. I feel like we might need to start making a database of phone numbers. If we find anyone else's phone number, we're going to want to try to look them up because we don't know who these people, they don't seem to be talking to each other. There were some phone numbers on our witnesses. Do we have phone numbers? Yes, we have witnesses we have phone number witnesses. So it would be actually interesting to make sure no one's talking to one of our witnesses. So we may want to go and check if any of our phone conversations happen to be with any of our witnesses. And then I don't see any at a glance, but okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to make a list of where we can find phone numbers. So we make sure we check them all. So we have the suspect profile forms, which have phone numbers, and then we've got the witness statements, which have phone numbers. Then we've got phone numbers in the newspaper. Which could be relevant. Any other phone numbers I'm forgetting? Look, I'm being bitten by a mosquito. Okay. Well, that's the contents of our cold case file. Now let's look at what has caused them to reopen it. I suppose this is going to be the discussion. These were all, what we're looking at here is information in the phase 1 booklet envelope. So this was what we were told at the beginning of the case got Vicky excited about reopening it. It's Jimmy Hobbs, the smuggler. So this is 3 months, 5 months after the case, after the heist. She's interviewing Jimmy Hobbs. Let's see what Jimmy says. Detective Price, it's good to meet you, Mr. Hobbs. Your arresting officer tells me a lot about you. He says you were in the possession of stolen goods totaling $85,000 when arrested. You've been connected at least 3 crimes that we know of and have been wanted by 4 different police departments in 2 different countries. Does that sound about right? You're making me blush. Detective Price, they tell me you'll be lucky to get out of prison in less than 30 years. You know, this is funny. They tell me that too. Does sound a lot better when you say it, though. Detective Price, Mr. Hobbs, you sure seem to be enjoying yourself. You know, I prefer to be called Bumblebee. Detective Price, it says here that Most of your clients just call you Jimmy the Fence. Yeah, but they do call me. Detective Price, I'm not here to play games. I'm here about a specific item, Jimmy. Yeah, well, I am a little low on inventory right now, but I could certainly put it on a wish list for you. Detective Price, very cute, Jimmy. I'm here about a gold watch. A watch that was listed among the items reported stolen during a heist in 2005. Mastermind of this heist has killed 3 people and stolen over $1 million, and I'm curious why you're selling one of the items from the heist. Listen, lady, I sell things. People bring me things and I find them a home. I don't care where they come from. Detective Price, well, you should care, Jimmy, because the person that you're selling that watch for stole millions of dollars and murdered 3 people. Without him, I wonder who's going to take the fall. Jimmy, I'm not going to play that game. I'm going to wait for my court date and handle my business. I had nothing to do with those jobs, and you know it. Just tell me about the watch. Well, your detective friend took the watch with the rest of my stuff, but I can make you a good deal when I get it back. Jimmy, this is no joke. You'll be lucky to take another breath as a free man. This is an opportunity. I do like opportunities. Did you know some people call me Mr. Opportunity? I'm done with this. We will see how your attitude holds up. Okay, fine. What do you want to know? Detective Price, I want to know the name of the guy you were selling the watch for. I don't know his name. Enjoy your stay here, Jimmy. All right. Hold your horses, detective lady. What about a trade? Detective Price, a trade for what? Yeah, like I said, I don't know his name. He was a secretive kind of guy. He always used different people for drops and pickups. I bought stuff from him and sold him stuff for years. Listen, you better hold up your end of the deal. Keep talking, Jimmy. All right, I know about the heist you're talking about. He tried to get me to be part of it. Kept sending me coded messages and maps. I told him I was just a mover. Got things to move and I'll get them where they need to go. I'm glad I did not take the job because I saw what he did to his 2 partners. He just gave me the watch, probably just to keep me quiet. Okay, now this is something we can work with. Do you have any evidence of any transaction with him over the years? I used to, but I lost my sales ledger a couple years ago. It would be in that for sure. I do have the coded message and map he used to try to recruit me for the job. I think that's worth a trade, my dear. Detective Price, what do you want, Jimmy? Jimmy, now that's more like it. First, I want a letter to the sentencing judge about my cooperation. Real nice letter, like the one that will bring tears to his eyes. You can talk about how I used to be a real nice kid and just lost my way. Yeah, that'll work. Second, as long as I'm here, I want a private cell and I want it showed out. I'm talking carpets, paintings, decorations, radios, all that jazz. They need to know who I am. Detective Price, okay, Jimmy, I'll get those things done if you give me those documents. Do we have a deal? Deal. There's something else you should know about that heist. They were not just going in for a smash and grab. They were going in after a very specific item. Took everything they could, but one thing brought them there. It was a very lucrative prize. I even had a shot at it once. You know, I'll probably make a good ornament for my cell if you ever catch him. Detective Price, I suppose you're not going to tell me what that item is, are you? Jimmy, well, we already made our deal. Have a nice day, Miss Vicky. Detective Price, detectives, take him to his cell and get me those documents. All right, so he now says he's going to give us some documents. That's what he's given us here. But he also says they came for one thing specific. They took everything they could get their hand on, but they came for one main thing. A very lucrative prize. I had a shot at it once. It'll make a good ornament for my cell if you catch him. So maybe a piece of jewelry? All right, well, let's look at now. So he's given us the coded message that our guy used to talk to him. Probably just the Caesar cipher where we're adding 7 to each thing. We can look at that in a second. And then here's the map that this guy tried to recruit him for. And we're told also that this guy brought stuff to him and took stuff from him. So we did have that one conversation with the professor about someone picking up packages and stuff, which is very interesting. All right, let's take a look. Now it's time to try to make a little bit of sense of this. So I'm overlaying this map where the vault is. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit to this. Maybe this would be a good time to try a full view of this. How's that? Where do you get, what other channel gives you such good views of stuff? Mantrap says, last set of texts from the XCOM were kind of suspicious. Cut off abruptly. Didn't the thieves meet up at a hotel room the night before the robbery where they found the diagram? A diagram is where they found them after they were dead. Not before the robbery, but after the robbery. All right, let's go to this again. Let's see what we got here. So, okay. What we should probably assume is the different numbers, 1, 2, 3, well, I was going to say, okay, so the colors are going to be for the different of the 3 different people involved in this heist. So the green guy, whoever that is, his path is like this. So he's coming in the front door, and it looks like he's going back into the employee area and hitting the security tapes. And then he's getting into the vault. The red person is walking. So this is parking here, metered parking. So our black person arrives by car, comes in the front door, goes past the commercial boxes, heads to residential boxes, straight through. That's his job. Come in, hit the residential lock boxes. Our red person's walking, comes in, hits the security guard post, hits the tellers, and then goes to the commercial boxes. The blue guy gets out of his car, goes straight up into the executive lock boxes. So black, red, and green. The green guy looks like he was hanging out outside the bank waiting. He comes in and does security boxes. Okay, black is coming from sidewalk. Wait a minute. Red, black, green, blue. 1, 2, that's 4. So the plan was to hit this with 4. Did they hit it with 4 and only 3 were caught? Or did they try to recruit 4 and had to run it with 3? It looks to me like blue is the driver. Everyone else seems to have come from sidewalk. Red is coming up from this sidewalk. Black is coming down from this sidewalk. Green was waiting outside. Only blue parked the car. But what is this? How does this help us? It's hard to know. This doesn't really show us where they came for, right? I mean, they all had their own. They all had their own mission. One guy heads for the residential lockboxes. One guy goes for the security in the vault. One guy goes for commercial boxes, and one guy goes for the executive lockboxes. And then the question is, were there 4, or is it more likely that one of them didn't? The plan was to get 4, but he couldn't get 4. So he had to run it with 3. All right. Well, I wish we could make better use of that. It seems like a rich piece of information. Okay, maybe later we're going to learn what colors is with who. But for now, we can't make too much use of this diagram. It doesn't help us that much, except for knowing that there are 4 people and that each of them had their specific job. So, but maybe we'll get that ruled out in a bit. All right, let's see if we can decode this message. Let me just get my stuff here. We could use this, or we could use the wheel. Let's go to the wheel. What is confusing it? Something was confusing it with okay. All right, so this says shift 7 here. So let's see if it's a simple Caesar cipher. So if it's +7, then it would have been useful to scan this. But let's just try it. So P goes to I, A goes to T, X goes to Q, G goes to Z. Okay, so that's not right. Let's see if it goes the other way. So how did I do it? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's try that. Okay. P goes to W. A goes to H. X goes to E. G goes to N. When. Okay, this looks more like it, huh? Okay, let's try to get this on screen and do it. R goes to Y. H goes to O. G goes to, N goes to U. When U, E, N, it's going to be enter, right? When you enter, T, A, take, T, H, take the, when you enter, take the B, R, O, take the brown, L, I, N, take the brown line. When you enter, take the brown line. Okay. So I believe what we've got here is our guy, our mastermind, gave this diagram to this guy, Jimmy, and said, here's your job. Your job is to take this brown line. And Jimmy never came, so I think they just never went on that brown line is what I think. But let's finish decoding this. It, W, I, it will, G, U, I, it will guide you to THE, will guide you to the TAR target. It will guide you to the target BOX. And BINTI in time. It will guide you to the target box in time. When you enter, take the brown line. It will guide you to the target box in time. Third line. Okay. W, A. Someone could solve this with an online thing a little easier. We could do that. Shall we do that now that we've figured out how to do it? Let's do it this way. See if we can do it here. Plain text, ciphertext. So we're going to decode Caesar cipher 7. Okay. Let's see if this works. AXG. So it's not 7. We want -7. There we go. Okay. To the target box in time. Okay. Next one. Do I have a view where I can show you? Yes, there we go. Watch your LMXI. Watch your step. Move quick. Do not fall. Start in the top left corner of the north wall. HEEP. Follow each step to know what to do. Move right another 4 and down one more. Okay, well, here it is. When you enter, take the brown line. It will guide you to the target box in time. Watch your step, move quick, do not fall. Start in the top left corner of the north wall. Follow each step to know what to do. Move right another 4 and down one more. This box is what we're there for. So he's giving us the brown line and then telling us how to find the exact box. Second line from the bottom messed up, got mixed together. Okay, so let's see what I did. Thank you. Let's see. LMXI WH and then MP. I see. What happened? What did I do? And then what happened here? Did I skip a lot? Is that right? Let's see. Is something going wrong? What? Why is it getting messed up when I'm typing? Am I typing it wrong? TGW, why is it? This is so, sort of important. TGW, then Max G, WHPG. What on earth is happening? I'm going to kill us by typing wrong. That would have been a nice idea. Or let me, this is ridiculous that this is having such a hard, I'm having such a hard time doing this. Okay, this is all good. It's here where things go bad. TGW, Max G, WHPG. MPH. TGW. Okay, now it looks right to me. Okay, I think this looks right to me. Move right. Sorry, let me put this here. All right, so first of all, let's screenshot this. All right, so the first thing is telling us the brown line, and then once we get to the residential boxes, it says start in the top left corner of the north wall. Top left corner, we're going to assume it's probably like a grid. Follow each step, move right 3. So 1, 2, 3, move right 3, move right 3, down 2, 1, 2, then move right another 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 1 more. So there's our box. next time, it's a very good idea actually to next time try to see if one of these, if I can take an app that can scan the text. All right, but I think we now have our understanding of what box it is. At least spatially, we don't know what box number that is yet. And then brown line is definitely this line here. So that brown line goes to the residential lock boxes. North wall, which is this wall right here, if this is north. Okay, so we know it's a residential lockbox that there was their target. And we know how to find what box they wanted. Let's now look. Remember, our guy says, come to me when you can prove they were after a certain box. So let's see, what two pieces of evidence would show us that? So maybe the hand-drawn map and the cipher document. The hand-drawn map and the cipher document, I think those are the two pieces of evidence that tells them that they were after a specific box. How does everyone feel about that? We still haven't, I'm going to put this with this. We have not gone to those websites in the newspaper, which we could visit if we wanted to see if we can look up DMV information. Jonathan says, sounds right to me. Jonathan Jang says, seems good. Mantrap says, agreed. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take our 8-minute break. We'll come back and we'll see if this is the proof that we need to get into phase 2. I'll see you in 8 minutes. Okay, we're back. You're watching Call for Two. We're playing Cold Case Crackers, Case C3644, Fairlake Bank Heist. We're about to solve Phase 1 by identifying two pieces of evidence that prove that they were targeting a specific box in the bank. Once we show them that, the bank manager has agreed to give us some records. Okay, so let's go to our web page here. We're told to go to Cold Case Crackers. Verify. Okay, which case are you solving? So here's what's interesting. I have 4 cases from Cold Case Crackers, and it looks like, I thought that was all they made, but it looks like there's a 5th. I believe the one I don't have is Bloom Gala case. We're doing this one. What is the case number? Don't know why we have to prove this. Case number C3644. Okay. Now it wants to know phase 1. So you just combine them. Okay, so we're on phase 1, and the code we're going to put in for phase 1 is the hand-drawn map K1, hand-drawn map, and the cipher document K2. Let me just point something out here. We've got hand-drawn map. We've also got map bank blueprint. It's a little weird because I still think our answer is right. It's just a little weird. It's a little weird that we don't also need to use the bank blueprint. Still, I think that's right. Jonathan Jang says the 5th case came out late last year separately. I see. Okay. All right. Well, here we go. Let's submit this and see what happens. K1 and K2. Submit. No. Okay. Didn't like that. Let's go back to drawing board and think about this. After talking to Jimmy, detectives believe the mastermind was targeting a specific safety deposit box. Police now need to gain access to our bank. Bank managers outlined what the bank's policy is and what is needed to acquire this new evidence. Which 2 artifacts fulfill the bank's policy and allow us to the access to the confidential records? And when we talked to him, he said that we have to prove, he says, we'll only release if you can prove the heist was specifically going after a box. If you can prove there was a target box, we can give you what you need. And we said it was this map and this note that told us how to find the target if you follow the brown line. So surely it's this one and this one. If you tried to use just this and this blueprint, you wouldn't know about the brown line. So how can it not be these two? We did hear a witness saying they were going after a box, didn't we? I forgot all about that. He said, make sure you get the target box. That's what we're here for. Okay, you're right. That's a good piece of evidence. So I guess we think now that we could use that information and the cipher message. Surely the cipher message. I guess this says target box, and the other one said the other decrypted message said 3 boxes. That's what we're here for. Sure, seems like that should be enough, but okay. If we assume that we're going to use this witness statement from Jamil Brooks, then it's N5. N5 is Jamal's witness statement. And then the cipher document K2. What do you think about that then? K2, N5. Okay, let's try that. That makes sense. It makes sense. It feels like we shouldn't need the witness statement, but I do agree that the witness statement does definitely point to them wanting a specific box. So let's try K2, N5. That makes sense. All right, we got it. It says you can move on to phase 2. Open the next phase envelope and continue the investigation. Okay. Let's go to stage 2. That was pretty fun. Let's see what phase 2 is. I'm going to organize our workspace a little better. So there are 4 phases. We're now entering phase 2. All right, phase 2 says, aha, look at this. This is pretty fun. Commercial boxes on the east wall, commercial boxes north wall, executive boxes south wall, residential boxes north wall, residential boxes south wall. I feel like we've already solved this. Hey, look at this. That's pretty fun. We've got actual detailed list of who owns each box. So here's all of our owners of the residential boxes, the commercial boxes, and the executive boxes. Okay. No backsides to these. Fine. And now our assignment is, you've met the bank's requirements and now obtained additional bank records. In addition, police have provided relevant crime scene photos. Determining the targeted box and its owner is an important step in connecting the mastermind to his heinous crimes. What is the 3-digit number of the box that was specifically targeted by the mastermind? Okay, so here is our instructions. It's the residential north wall. Let's confirm that. It was the brown line which got up to the residential lock boxes, and the message said, start in the top left of the north wall. Okay, so top left of north wall is here. Are these numbered? They're too small for me to see, and I think maybe if we zoom in, we can see them. Look at that zoom. Look at these cubes. Okay. So we're told start in the upper left. Go 1, 2, 3. Down 2. Then right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then down 1. Looks like 944. Let's do that again. Starting in the upper left, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 1. 944. Right 3, down 2, right 4, down 1. That looks right to me. Okay, let's see who owns that box. Residential. There is no 944. What does that mean? Have I misread it? Or is it just... No, 944. There it is. 944. Brenda Watts. 7/2/2001. Brenda Watts. 7/2/2001. Okay, Brenda, what do you have for us? And why? Okay. So, are we ready to solve phase 2 right now? Seems like it. I don't know why these are here, but there's our 944. I guess we're ready to do it. I'm not sure why these are arranged in this order the way they are. If you follow these instructions this way, 1, 2, 3. 2. No, okay. All right, let's try 944, yeah? So we're ready to verify our next phase. We click yes. Okay, phase 2. Any objection to 944? Opening this box. If not, here we go. Brenda Watts. What are we going to do? Are we actually going to open it? I don't know if they're actually going to let us open it. Here we go. Submit. We need a name. Well, that's pretty obvious, right? Our name is Brenda Watts. It's a little confusing why we would need a name, why it doesn't just know the name. It's not much of a puzzle here, but okay. Let's find Brenda Watts. There she is. Submit. Success. Well, okay. Phase 2 was quick, but that makes sense. We spent quite a bit of time before phase 1 figuring things out. We've got the box they were looking for. Phase 3. Here we go. I mean, I always love these games that break things into acts. I think that's a great idea. Whoa, look at that. What on earth kind of crazy thing is that? Is it a watch? It looks like a little encrusted snail. Or creature, crustacean. But it does look like it could be worth money. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. A police report. And what's this? Following are entries from Jimmy Hobbs' ledger provided by Brenda Watts. These items were sold by Mr. Hobbs to unknown parties. Why does Brenda Watts have Jimmy Hobbs' ledger? Jimmy Hobbs said he lost his ledger, right? I think we need to read this police report. What's going on here? Some detail we missed about his ledger. Didn't he say if he had his ledger he could prove to us, but he didn't have it? Okay, so we found out they were after Brenda Watts' box, so we called in Brenda Watts to interview her. Let's see what she says. Thank you for coming in today, Miss Watts. Am I in any sort of trouble or anything? What is this about? Detective Price, we just have a few questions about the bank heist back in 2005. Oh, it's a year and 5 months. It's actually been quite a while. This case has gone cold. A few questions about the bank heist back in 2005. You were one of the safety deposit box owners at the time, is that right? Yes, I was. I talked to the police back then. Other than having something stolen from me, I had nothing to do with it. I lost a valuable pendant, then filed an insurance claim. Okay, I'm seeing a blinking thing. Let's see what the chat wants to talk to me about. Jesse Check. On the website, I thought I saw you ready for the next phase. Click here. Probably just directs you to the next page to fill out, but might have some online info. Just double checking. Okay, good question. Let's see. It says ready to verify your next phase. So I'm going to click here just to show Jonathan it does go back to this. But that was a good catch and a good test of our new alert system, which is working perfectly. I'm very happy to see. Okay, good use of the alert system. Okay, so she says, other than having something stolen from me, I had nothing to do with it. I lost a valuable pendant and filed an insurance claim. There's her pendant. Detective Price, we don't believe you're involved, but some new information has come to our attention. It seems that your box specifically was the main target of the heist. They stole everything they could that day. But they came for what was in your box. Oh my, wow, well, like I said, it was just the one item, an old pendant. Yes, I see that here. A pendant of precious metal and jewels that was insured for over $1 million. Quite an expensive piece, Miss Watts. Oh, indeed, my great uncle left it to me. I never thought it was that valuable. I even tried to sell it a couple of times. I decided to take it to get it appraised one day, and that's when I found out how much it was worth. Detective Price, had anyone ever tried to steal it from you before? Also, can you name anyone that would have known about it? No, I don't think so. Well, I had it appraised at Big Mike's pawn shop. Everyone there was so nice. They seemed as shocked as I was at the value. Big Mike's pawn shop, huh? That rings a bell. Detective Price, yes, we've heard of Big Mike. We're not sure he's the guy we're looking for. Did you show it to anyone else? Well, like I said, I tried to sell it to one person once. I posted it online for a couple $100, and he was the first person to respond. We met at a coffee shop to negotiate the price and make the sale. He seemed very eager, so I got nervous. Do you remember his name? I do not know his real name, but he said he liked to be called Honeybee or Bumblebee, something like that. We know who wants to be called Bumblebee. It was Jimmy, the guy who got this case reopened. Detective Price, oh, I think I know who that is. What happened? Well, like I said, I got nervous. I left and put it in my safety deposit box for safekeeping. It was later that I found out how valuable it was. Detective Price, did you ever have any other contact with him? Well, yes. He contacted me about a week after it was stolen from the bank. I thought it was a little strange. I figured he had potentially learned about everything in the news. Detective Price, the man you know as Bumblebee is a global criminal, and we know now that he was a lot more about this. He knew a lot more about this than was in the news. He may have been the one that spread the word about how valuable your jewel was. Brenda says, so is he the mastermind everyone has been looking for? Did he kill all those people? Oh my goodness. Detective Price, no, he has a lot to pay for, but he's not the mastermind we're looking for. What happened when he contacted you after the heist? Well, I met with him at a bakery. I did not know he was so dangerous at the time. He made me a little angry because he said I should have sold it to him. I'm plenty happy with the insurance money I got. Detective Price, did he say anything about who may have done it? No, but the more I think about it, he did seem to know more than he should. I was not sure if he wanted to brag, yell at me, or sell me something. Detective Price, okay, well, how did it end? Brenda says, I'm not proud of this, but Miss Watts, what did you do? Well, he was a very rude and arrogant man. When we went to leave, I noticed his little book that he always wrote stuff down in, so I, Miss Watts. Yes, I stole it. I'm not sure why, he just made me so angry. You are telling me that you have his missing ledger? Well, kind of, yeah. Miss Watts, we are going to need that ledger for our investigation. Well, I can bring it in. Thank you. Oh, goodness, I cannot believe all of this. I'm not in any trouble, am I? Detective Price, no, but stay close by in case we have more questions and bring that ledger in as soon as possible. Okay, I will. So the question is, okay, so she's pointed us to two people that are connected to our suspects. Big Mike's pawn shop, which is where our pilot is working, I think, or one of our people is working. No, our criminal is working, our ex-con. And then she tells us that she got the ledger from our guy that they just arrested. I'm a little nervous about her. Either that's pretty coincidental, or is she orchestrating this somehow? Can that possibly be? Surely not. All right, so let's look at the ledger now. Now, what were we told about the ledger from our guy? He tells us that he would have proof. Let's see. He sent me coded messages. He wants a private cell. Where does he tell us about the ledger? He says, I can't tell you about the guy. I didn't know his name. I don't know his name. He always used different people for drops and pickups. He used different people. He didn't just... That sounds like the guy who packages. I bought stuff from him and sold him stuff. He tried me to get part of it. He kept sending me coded messages and maps. He gave me the watch to keep me quiet. And then we say, do you have any evidence? And he says, I used to, but I lost my sales ledger a couple years ago. It would be in that for sure. Okay, so this is information from his ledger that we could use to find out who tried to contact him. So what have we got here? We actually have looks like a bunch of stuff. First of all, we've got phone numbers. We've also got handguns. And we've got a sale of a police scanner the day after the bank robbery. And is this our gun that was used in the bank robbery? Where's our thing? Here's our forensic report. The gun that killed the person has serial number FXZ56T. Firearm reported stolen in 2004. FXZ56T. Here's our gun that was used at the bank heist, sold by our guy on January 19th, a week before the heist. And police scanner sold a week after the heist. Not a week after, that's a day after the heist. The person he sold the gun to, that's the person we want to try to locate. 723-654-4328. Any other sales to that same phone number? No. Why are some in red and some in blue? We do. Oh, these are probably sales to and purchases from, right? Probably the reds are going to have to be sales to someone because this is right before, unless this guy was involved in it. Why are we so sure this guy's not the actual mastermind? Why do we not have an alibi on him? How are we so sure it's not him? All right, well, let's see who owns. Let's see if we can find who has this phone number. Doesn't look like any phone number from any of our suspects. That's unfortunate. Where's our Miss Brenda Watts? We don't have her phone number. There's our gun that was used in the murder, in the heist. And this is the gold watch he may have been given to keep him quiet. What about that number? 658. None of our suspects. But I wonder if we could find this number, either number in the people. We're told that this guy uses other people to buy stuff and sell stuff for him. So I wonder if we couldn't find that number 658 or 654. Let's see if we can find that number in the call logs of any of our people. 658, 654. Bingo. Got it. Got it. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yep. So we're all on the same page. The whole chat is saying, does it match any of the text messages? And yes, it does. Yes, it does. Look what we've got here. There's the gun purchased 1 week before the murder for the bank robbery heist. I believe this means this guy sold. There it is. And who is this that we're talking about? It's Charles Gibson, our professor. So Charles Gibson, our professor, is getting a call, having a text message with the person who bought the gun on January 18th. Professor says, "Where were you yesterday?" The guy with the gun says, "I'm sorry, my kid got sick. No worries, I can relate. I'll get to the rest of the office supplies tomorrow. Can you still get the package?" "Yep, I can meet him tomorrow at the office store." "Who should I be looking for?" "He drives a red truck." "Got it. See you soon." January 18th, January 19th, there's the purchase date of the gun. There we go. I think we basically just solved this case. Seems like there's been a glitch in the stream, but it's okay. So our professor is arranging for this guy to get the package for him. "Can you still get the package?" He says, "Yep, I can meet him tomorrow at the office store." "Who should I be looking for?" And our professor tells him, "Yeah, he drives a red truck." So here he is arranging for his friend to pick up the gun, which is exactly what our guy says. Jimmy Hobbs says that this mastermind always has other people getting stuff, being as middlemen. So here he is using this middleman to pick up the gun. So I believe we've solved this case now. We know who the mastermind is. We know who we used to get the gun. Let's see if he's using anyone else to hand off stuff. 416 416 723416. 713522. I don't see any other contacts from him. All right. Let's see what this game wants from us for this stage now that we believe we've identified what's happening here. Where's our stage 3 assignment? Okay, here's our stage 3 assignment. You've identified Brenda Watts as the box owner. She was able to provide valuable information in her interview along with critical additional evidence. This evidence helps reveal the identity of the mastermind by connecting him to the weapon used in both crimes. Which two artifacts link the mastermind to the heist and murders? Which one suspect is the mastermind? Oh, so it's ready to solve it. Okay. Which two artifacts? So we're going to generate a 6-digit code. Two artifacts link the mastermind to the heist and murders. Which one suspect is the mastermind? Okay, so we believe our mastermind is Charles. So V3 is going to be our last 2 digits. Phase 3. It's going to end in V3 is the mastermind. Charles Gibson. Now, what pieces of evidence do we think? We think one is Charles' text messages, right? C4. And then the other one is the ledger, right? Jimmy's ledger, P7. So as I read it, the answer is C4P7V3. Any disagreements about that? So we got the ledger. The ledger told us about a gun purchase of the gun used in the robbery to murder someone. The text messages told us who purchased it and purchased it on whose orders. C4, Charles's text messages. P7, Jimmy's ledger. V3, Charles. C4, P7, V3. Sounds like the chat is in some agreement. Any disagreements about that? What was the stream glitch? What happened? Did you lose much of the thing? Okay, everyone seems to agree, so we're gonna go do that here. So phase 3, we're gonna enter our code C4P7V3. Does it tell you what order? It doesn't really tell you what order. Maybe it's got it for all 3 different orders. C4P7V3. Could also be 2 things matching up the serial numbers of the gun. That's a good point. The forensic lab report is the one that told us the serial number. Is that in here? So the forensic report actually isn't in this list that I can see. So we couldn't have chosen the forensic report. Otherwise, it's a good point, Jonathan. All right, here we go. Submit the answer. Success. You can now move on to phase 4. Open the next phase when you're ready to enter something. Okay, so that's it. We've solved phase 3. Pretty cool. So phase 2 and phase 3 went very quickly, which is not to say they weren't satisfying. It was funny in the interview how she told us about stealing. So I guess there is something for us to do here, but it feels like it's just, this should be just the epilogue. Oh, I almost missed something that was in there. All right, let's see what we've got here. So witness statement conducted recently in June. Let's see what it says. It's a witness statement from Lauren Hill. She was at the arrest of Charles Gibson. She's a neighbor of Charles Gibson. I heard some gunshots, so I came outside. Saw the police out in front of Charles's house. I saw him leave out the back in a car I didn't recognize. It was an SUV, and the last 3 letters of the plate were ROL. I hope you guys catch him. Now, we should remember, we need to remember something. It's possible Brenda Watts is our mastermind and has forged the ledger. If so, she's framing Charles Gibson. But how would she know to put the fake phone number of Charles Gibson's helper? That doesn't make sense. She would have put his number. All right, but his SUV doesn't have the right license plate of the car seen outside the crime. Right? Because our witness at the crime, was it the witness or newspaper? The first 3 letters of the... Oh, first 3, last 3. Uh-huh. The first witness says they noticed the first 3 letters of the license plate, CAR. The new witness at Charles Gibson's arrest when he escaped says it was an SUV that Charles owns, and the last 3 digits are ROL. So CAR ROL is the license plate for the SUV. I'm not sure why they need it. If they could use the DMV to find his car, unless it's a stolen car. Okay, so they tried to arrest him and they failed. We haven't tried our DMV. We're going to try it if the game doesn't tell us to try it. Okay, now what else have we got? Suspect flees during shootout. Yesterday, a shootout ensued when police went to arrest Charles Gibson, the confirmed mastermind of the Fairlake bank heist and a string of murders dating back to January 2005. While police were taking cover and waiting for backup, Charles Gibson managed to escape. Police have begun a manhunt and issued a national APB for Gibson. Police believe their best lead is the vehicle he escaped in, which was also used for the Broadway savings and loan heist back in 2005. Continued on page A3. And then here looks like just a little piece of a Sudoku and crossword puzzle. If you wanted to solve it, you could solve that. Not relevant for us. And what's this? Keep the SUV as long as you need. You always have a place to stay if things get rough. Love, Carol. So, Carol owns this SUV. Charles Gibson. So it's not his car. So that's why we can't, and we only have the first name of Carol. So without the license plate, we won't know how to locate it. But Carol, where is this? Arizona, Nevada? Okay, so he's escaped in a car that doesn't belong to him, that belongs to Carol. And he's probably hiding out with Carol. You always have a place to stay if things get rough. So that's why we're going to use the license plate at that website to find Carol. And that's the final thing that we're going to do. Phase 4. So we know we're going to look up the website from that newspaper article. Let's see if this gives away that you should do that. Congratulations, you've identified the mastermind of the Fairlake heist as Charles Gibson. When police went to apprehend him, he opened fire on the detectives and, in the turmoil, was able to escape. Police believe identifying the vehicle used in the heist will reveal his current hideout. Using the federal vehicle database, determine the location associated with the gateway vehicle. The manhunt is on. Okay, so as I suspected, it's actually giving us a hint that we need to use the federal vehicle database. If you had missed that while reading the initial news, we didn't, so we knew where to go. But this is giving you a big hint about it if you didn't. Okay, so we're going to look her up and find Carol's driver's license and look her up and send the cops to that address. So let's find our newspaper article. Here's our double murder. And on the back, we noticed early on, Fairlake Police needs help. They set up a website where you can do vehicle database entry. So we're going to go to that website right now. National Vehicle Database, license plate number, and then the 2-digit state code. Okay, so we think it's CAR and then ROL. Even though her name is Carol, we believe that the first two were CAR, the last... I suppose it depends on whether it's a 5-digit or 6-digit license plate. So it says the first three are CAR, the last three are ROL. So it's either CAR ROL or CAROL. What would be your guess would probably be that it would be Carol, right? Though it's not inconsistent, right? The first three and the last three have a shared letter. So let's try Carol. Now, I turned this over and I said Arizona, and then I said, oh, Nevada. You probably know that this is Arizona if you know your geography. But look, even if you don't, it's postmarked. So we know where she lives. She lives in Smithville, Arizona. That's kind of fun, right? So we can now go... Chat was agreeing that it's probably Carol, not Carol. All right, so now that we know she's in Arizona, we'll put state code as AZ, and we'll hit submit. If it's not CAROL, it'll be CARROL. Let's try this one, though. Got her. Plate number Carol AZ. Vehicle information, it's a Ford Expedition 2004 black SUV. Owner, Carol Hart. Street address, 182 Converse Road, Smithville, Arizona. That's it. We got her. All right, phase 4. Let's find this address. 182 Converse Road. There she is, H3, 2-digit address. Alrighty. Phase 4. Our final code, H3. Here we go. We're about to solve this one. You ready? Let's see what happens. Fairlake Heist. You win. Arrested, Charles Gibson. Your detective team has completed the investigation. You solved the Fairlake Heist case and brought Charles to justice. Listen to the final audio below. All right, let's listen to it together. I believe you should be able to hear it.
Commissioner Coronado, I heard you wanted to see me.
Oh, yes, Detective Price. Come on in. I was reading your final report on the Fairlake Bank Heist case, and I gotta say, I'm quite impressed.
Thank you, sir.
Were they able to make the arrest in Arizona without any issues?
Yes, they took Charles Gibson into custody as well as Carol Hartz. We believe she had some knowledge on the heist and were able to connect her with the hotel room murders.
Okay, great. And were you able to find any of the money or items that were stolen in the heist?
We were able to recover many of the items from both Charles and Carol's residences, and the team is still working closely with the bank.
Okay. Well, it's always good when we can close a cold case, but I gotta tell you, this was a big one. Congratulations, Detective Price. You did an amazing job.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and it was a smart thing for you to call in the Cold Case Crackers detective team. I heard they made a big difference.
Oh yeah, they were top notch. We wouldn't have been able to get justice in the case without them. The whole Fairlake Police Department worked hard on this one as well. A real team effort.
Well, that's music to my ears. Just great to hear. Let's hold on to the number for that detective team. We never know when we may need them again.
Will do. I hear they're looking into some cases in Florida, but I'll certainly stay in touch with them.
Oh, great. Just great. Well, congratulations again, Detective. Enjoy this one. That'll be all.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. What's on this dotted line? Download. You could download, so you can't listen to audio. You don't have a transcript, which is a shame for anyone who's hearing impaired. And then here are the other cases. And so the one I don't have is the Bloom Gala case. All right, let's take a look at what the hint system looks like. Tip line. What's the tip line phase code? What does that mean? Oh, I see. Okay, so let's look up the tip line for... Let's actually look up the phase 1 tip line. That was the one that That was the one where we tried to do slightly wrong thing. All right, so there's a secret code here that's on the thing here. We're gonna look at this and then we're gonna take a break and come back and give our thoughts. Okay, so but if I put in this tip line, I just want to see what this looks like. 486259. Still stuck. Listen to another tip line caller. This seems a little familiar. We did another game where the tips kind of looked like this. It might have been an Enigma calling card. Let's listen to what these tips sound like.
I'm a retired lawyer from Fairlake. I know it's supposed to be anonymous, but the name's Dino. I heard you guys are trying to get some confidential records. Now, most people don't read the policies, but I reviewed this one. It's like the bank manager said, you need to prove there was a target. Seems like a fair policy. Unlike the policy that you can't hula hoop on Fremont Street. Oh well, hope this helps.
Didn't really help. Let's listen to this one.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to someone about the bank heist. I worked with the guy years back. He was a real character, I tell you. He called himself Mr. Opportunity, I think. Crazy. He buys and sells stolen items from about any and anywhere and everywhere. I know for a fact that this guy knew the team was targeting a specific box. I think I even saw on the news someone done already interviewed him. Now I wonder, who else could have heard that the team was after a target box? There's some crazy stuff going on in this city. It's probably worth finding out. I mean, I ain't gonna do y'all's job for you. That's why I pay taxes. So I hope this helps.
Okay. So hints in the form of multimedia audio. None of the voice acting is particularly good. It may be some of the... It sounds like it's just been done by a couple people in the office with a microphone, but not a big deal. All right, we're going to take an 8-minute break. We'll come back and we'll give our thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You've got 8 minutes to cogitate on them. This might be a good time to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in 8 minutes for final thoughts. Okay, we're back to give our final thoughts on Cold Case Crackers, the Fairlake Bank heist case. And the channel is a bit split. Let's see what the channel says. Jonathan Warner says, well-produced documents, didn't really notice any typos. Info seemed to flow in a logical sense. Example, Jesse being able to infer why the first suspect was brought in for questioning. Rob says, better than expected, not very long or challenging, but interesting story, pretty good documents. Jonathan Warner says, pacing a little odd, long cold case file, followed by very short little phase envelopes. Also odd that the other suspects seem to just fall out of the case, not really a lot of tension. Rob says, a bit too gamey in parts. I found it hilarious that two separate people couldn't remember the license, Carol, but only parts. Jonathan Warner says, not the biggest fan of the pick to correct piece of evidence forms on site. Jonathan says, probably best for someone new to this type of game. Rob says, overall a nice diversion for an hour or two. What's the price of these? Should be on the lower end. Wouldn't pay $30 for it. I think these do sell for about $30 new. On sale for $26. Jonathan Jank says, I enjoyed my play of the train bomber case as well. And biggest gripe is too straightforward. It's nice to play when you want to have a chill night. Also thought the game felt more escape room puzzly to me. And games like this normally lean more towards pure deduction. I enjoyed part one for both cases, like the world building a lot. Okay, let me give you some thoughts while you guys are writing some more. I would say that this absolutely exceeded my expectations in a positive way. I sort of expected very amateurish documents and writing, and instead what I got felt like a really nice variety of very real feeling documents and very competent, good writing and a generous amount of writing. There are a lot of long interviews here that felt they were very compelling to read. Each person had a different personality. I felt attached to that detective. We followed one detective from the original case through the cold case. She did all the interviews. She was serious about her interviews. She pressured people when they needed pressuring. And there was some real humor throughout the game. And just all of the dialogue was enjoyable to read. And the newspaper stories felt like newspaper writing stories. The police reports and forensics felt like forensic reports. The witness statements felt like witness statements. So overall, I was very pleased with the experience and the quality of the documents. And in general, just the setup of the story, a bank heist where someone kills off some of the crew. It didn't feel cartoony. It felt real. Now, some of the details in all of these games are always a little bit cartoonish. But I felt it was a compelling story. I was interested from start to finish in catching the person and finding out what happened. That all being said, I think the one knock you could have on this is just how straightforward and easy that it was. And I think, this is not, as the quality of the material is so good that it almost makes you wish that it was a harder case. But this would absolutely be a great case for a group that's new to this. And I think the pacing was, you could argue, as Jonathan Warner said, that the pacing was a little odd in that we spent a long time in phase one and then we basically whipped through phase two and phase three. All the other phases were very quick after phase one. But I don't think I would register that as a complaint, really. To me, you could hope for a longer, harder game. But once you accept that this is not going to be that, The phases actually create what you always hope happens with these multiple acts. It really did have an unfolding story. We got our initial suspects. I mean, it was actually, the setup was pretty cool. Here's this case you have from this original robbery in 2005. And then you get this separate little set of documents that explains how the cold case got reopened. And then you've got these 3 additional stages that happen. They may be short, but they are narratively nice. Like, one is when we discover this, catch this person. And then another one is when we figure out what box they're targeting. And then the other one is when we talk to the person whose box is targeted. And that was really quite nice, I thought. And then the game had this very nice little action finale scene when we actually had to figure out how to catch the guy. It was a little bonus ending. Like, first we identified the guy, then we had to catch him. And I thought some of the, there's different places where you find enjoyment in these games. And, one of them is doing real deduction and figuring something out. And then others of them are just sort of the mechanical work is sometimes fun or not fun. The cipher was a little long to be fun, and it was obviously very easy. But it was compelling to figure out what it was. But a good example of the fun kind of work that got put into this game that was impressive and enjoyable were those text messages. 5 suspects all had their text messages searched, and they were all like intriguing. They were all a bit mysterious, a bit suspicious, a bit weird, with phone numbers that were, it was like a lot of stuff was hidden in the density of those clues. And when we got to the finale where we got this, I mean, there's a lot of pieces of evidence here, but when we got this ledger, it felt realistically enjoyable to be like, okay, well, we can't find them selling that $1 million thing, but what's this gun? That we recognize that gun, the serial number, the date lines up. Okay, some of them are red or some of them blue. What does that mean? That had a meaning. Then we're like, okay, let's look for the phone numbers. We looked on the phone numbers of all of our suspects, didn't find it, and then all had the same aha moment, like, maybe we can catch one of the people talking to one of our suspects. And indeed we did, and that made sense logistically to what we knew about the person. Like, there were lots of that, and lots of work went into creating these dense clues that most of the time were not important, but made sense of everything. Like, it was fun that this is what the police would do. They'd bring up the visitor logs of the person who had been arrested for trying to do this crime earlier. Like, a lot of effort went into the red herring trails that you could get sent down. And even though this case was easy for us, it might not be so easy for someone else, but it also made it feel real. And I think for me, that was the real pleasure of this game. Like, look at all the work that went into all stuff that wasn't strictly needed. Everyone got fingerprinted. Everyone had their stats, the car they drive, the license plate. Like, a lot of work went into this game to make the documents feel real and possibly relevant, even though most of them weren't. And if you're new to this kind of game, that's a real enjoyable aspect. Like, you feel like you're dealing with a real police file here. So I think I would really recommend this to a group that wants an easier experience. The newspaper articles, they feel real, they look real. Just very impressed by the production and the enjoyment of just going through the documents. What else did I want to say? There were maybe a couple things that were weird. It was a little weird that the end part where Brenda's like, yeah, I tried to pawn it for $100, this $1 million watch, at the pawn shop where one of the guys happens to work. and stole the ledger. That was a little bit of a weird coincidence how they tried to rope in the guy who worked at the pawn shop. I'm not sure that was really necessary. It was a little far-fetched. Didn't really hurt it, just a little weird. What else did I write down in my notes? I think I would disagree with Jonathan about the way this verification system worked. Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, how it was asking you to prove what evidence confirms something. I think I like that. I actually enjoy that. I think that was a fun... Like, it's not just like when you figure this out, open this envelope. We had to prove it. And we had to... It wasn't difficult for us, but we did get one wrong a little bit. And took 2 shots at it. But I think this is actually a nice... I like this kind of system, which is how do you prove this information? By combining... By identifying the piece of information. And I think the Harmony Ashcroft, that other series of games, which I've now put away, Unsolved Case Files or something, uses something similar, a website where you have to say which pieces of evidence prove something. And I think I like that. I think that makes sense to me. And it's a nice actual test that sometimes you have to think harder about. I liked it. I'd play another, definitely on the easier side. Too easy for this group, probably. But I would absolutely recommend this. Nothing had to get destroyed. You can pass this along a little bit on the high price side, but not high priced for the amount of materials, just high priced for the difficulty and the length of experience. Anyway, I liked it. I was impressed. I would absolutely play more of these and be happy to recommend these, especially if you can get them cheaper and if you're a group that wants something on the easier side. Okay, any other final comments? And Tina has dropped by. It looks like the alert system gadget that I've coded for worked out well and is actually useful. Any final comments? If not, we're scheduled to play Curse of the Dark on Friday. That is probably not going to film well because it seems like it needs a whole table and you need to be able to go and look at things from certain angles. So that may be a little rough. On the other hand, it's a interesting little thing. I see the alert that Jonathan has tested. I can show you that alert if I switch to it. Whoops. Oh, I changed the webcam. Okay, so I can't show you the alert. But I've got the red alert here. I guess it doesn't show on this view either. All right. Anyway, it works. It clears it. It's a good system for directing my attention to the channel. Jonathan Jang says, if you like these, I'd recommend checking out the Unsolved Case File games again. I think those do a really good job with narratives and character suspect building. Yeah, that's not... I think that's basically the take-home message I took when I reviewed those, that it was an easy case, but a very good one, good experience to recommend to someone. And that's sort of how I feel about this one as well. All right, so Friday, Curse of the Dark, and then Sunday, I really hope to have our Murders by Mail reply. If it doesn't come, I've already emailed them asking for it, but they haven't replied. If we don't get that Murders by Mail on Sunday, we'll pick something off the shelf and play it. It was a pleasure, as always, playing with all of you. Thank you for joining me. I guess that's it. No one has anything else to say. We'll end it here. I'll see you on Friday.